Coming into the second segment of our podcast for the second edition of our Firstborn Sons Bootcamp, we are going to be talking about children with special needs. In this segment, we're going to be delving into different aspects of children with special needs, the kind of special needs, some that are, visible and some that are not. So I have with me a specialist, a teacher. She actually has a school for children with special needs in view, and she's going to be talking to us about what it means for you to have a child with special needs, what to do, when to notice them, and all of that. So welcome, Mrs. Judith Okere.
Thank you, Mom.
It's good to have you here, and welcome again to the second edition of our Firstborn Son Bootcamp.
Thank you, Mom.
So please, can we know who Mrs. Judith Okere is?
Thank you, Mom. First of all, congratulations on your second edition of your bootcamp.
We give God all the praise.
Yes. So I am Judith Ifeyinwa Okere, a special needs specialist, therapist, and educator. Yes. So thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Here,
You're welcome. So I have a question for you. And the first question that comes to mind when you hear children with special needs is, what actually is this special need? How do you know a child with special needs when you see one?
Okay, let's start with having an introduction of special needs.
Thank you.
Yes, so in clinical psychology and in medicine, we can refer special needs as individuals with disabilities or disorders who require medical, mental attention, as well as psychological attention. Yes, ma'am. Yes, so we can, when you see people with disabilities, physical disabilities, brain disorders, or should I say neurological disorder, we refer to all of them as special needs. Yes, so on the course of this podcast, I will be focusing on the ones with neurological disorder.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Since this one has to do with the brain, and you have actually assessed and worked with the one that has to do with disabilities. Yes. On this aspect, we'll be working and talking about the ones with neurological disorders. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much for that introduction. So now my question is, at what point as a mother do you find out that a child has special needs?
Okay, some disabilities or disorders can be known while the child is still in the fetus, still in the womb. Rather.
So while the mother is still pregnant, you can discover that this child is a child with special needs.
Exactly. So
what do you do as a mother, knowing that the pregnancy you are carrying is a child with special needs, is going to have a disorder? So what do you think they do? Because I really need to understand, if someone knows that the child he or she is carrying is going to have a disorder, will the person want to have that child? Because when you see the way these children are taken care of and all of that, you may want to think twice, because it's quite challenging to take care of them. So what happens?
Okay, so once a mother is pregnant, yes, so she undergoes series of clinical tests, scan, and all of that. And in the course of all this, they can find out that she is carrying a disabled child or a special needs child. In the case of Down syndrome,
okay,
yes, and some other syndromes,
okay,
yes, cerebral palsy too,
okay,
inclusive. And you can agree with me that the love of a mother starts at conception.
Yeah.
For a mother, she begins to feel that she has a whole human being,
yeah,
once she knows she has conceived. So at this point, many mothers never want to do away with their child. When they have been told by the medical practitioner that this is a special needs child or this is a Down syndrome child, and it should be taken off, can be done away with. And that is an advice. They advise them, we can do away with them. But because of this bond, love, affection,
they decide
most
to
times,
keep the baby.
Exactly. Most times, the mother refuses to let go of her baby. And the decisions are made within the family and they have the child like that.
Wow. That's a serious matter. So, which other kinds of special needs requires that the child is given birth to first before they discover them?
Okay, so there are different special needs. Let's quickly run a bit of overview of them.
Okay.
And they include autism,
okay,
ADHD,
okay,
dyslexia,
okay,
cerebral palsy, and Down syndrome, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
Yes, so in autism,
okay,
in ADHD, and the others, yes, so we can start saying this after the child has been brought to the world. Yes. Now let's hold on. When a mother has put to bed, once the child is now in the world with us, the child begins to take milestones. And we note them as development.
Yes.
So for every individual, there are developmental stages.
Yes.
So at every developmental stage of a child, a milestone is covered.
There are expectations.
So at this time, you can start noticing your child. So it's also an advice for parents. Yes. There are things to start noticing once you give birth to your child. The stage they need to start crawling. Did they crawl? It does not necessarily mean that once the child is not crawling when he needs to crawl, then it's a special needs child. No.
Some children actually have delays.
Yeah, they take their time to do things and nothing is wrong with them. But it's time you start watching, taking observation of what happens at the child's stages of development. When do they cry? Do they like bonding? So they might not like bonding. Some might like too much bonding, especially with the mother alone. And some might overcry. Should we say that?
Crying all night, all day.
And we cannot fix exactly what is wrong. So, of course, crying is a good thing for children or for babies. Yes. But then, when it becomes
too much,
in a way that you do not understand what is wrong, you understand? And then, other things begin to roll in place. Like, when the child cannot crawl well, they begin to bring their own ways of doing things.
Different ways
of doing things. They begin to find different ways of blabbing. Babies blab. So we know babies blab to talk and to express themselves. So they begin to make some kind of noise that is different
from the regular
blabbing. Which sometimes you begin to say, is he all right? Some kind of blab may suggest that something is wrong. You begin to find something wrong, and it persists and goes on like that. Yeah, so it goes on and on like that. Even playing with toys, they may not want to play with toys. You see, when they have to start playing with toys, there are stages when you have to put some sensory toys around the baby, like tie balloons to the leg of the baby. They start kicking. They start kicking it to the air. You tie a ribbon to your baby feet and they kick it. It's a way of training babies too. So, and they do not do that. They don't know what to do with toys. When they have to reach out to get, there are times that babies need to reach out to get. They are not able to do that, and they see that sometimes they can even do that. Some do not start immediately after birth or during that developmental stages. Some might even wait until they are 1 year.
Wow.
Yes, when the baby needs to start saying their first words, and they will not be able to say. And some, they might even be talking already, and at a point they lose all the few words: mama, papa, food, tata for water, and all that. So, as time goes on, you start noticing some strange developments. Not wanting to play with their mates. Yes. Or wanting to always be outside, throwing tantrums excessively without you picking what they want. Yes. So when all these things begin to, does not mean that other children may not at one point or the others, show some of these signs.
Okay.
Yes, they can. At some, children will always be children. At some point, your baby will be crying. You don't know what's wrong. You find out. But this one becomes persistent.
Wow.
And becomes so much that you start wondering, is my child all right? So I will advise, instead of waiting till they are 2 years, because we can say, let us wait, monitor them till they are 2 years or 3 years before we can ascertain that it is special needs. It is autism, it is this, or it is that. So you can start at that time by recording all this down, things that you notice that are happening down, just for you to have a good glimpse of exactly what it is
that is wrong with the child.
That is wrong with the child. So these are things that you understand, you can experience. That is to term it all the developmental stage.
Now, I have a question. What is there a particular thing, like, is it that the mother ate something, or maybe the environment, or you understand what I mean? What exactly causes children to have special needs?
That's a very beautiful question. So there has not been any particular thing that has been pinpointed to have caused.
So you mean anybody can actually have a child with special needs?
Yes, they are called neurological disorders.
Wow.
So there is no particular thing that medicine has told us till now that can lead to special need. That's so okay, it is only like this. Even though medicine have not, no research yet has proved the particular cause for neurological disorders. There are steps to take to avoid having children with special needs. Or in case you have them already, there are steps to take for us to start covering milestones and go back to the developmental stages, help the brain to develop
the way it ought
to develop. Yes, and also there are things we can do to aid them. Yes, ma'am.
So now the child already has special needs.
Yes, ma'am.
So how do we take care of this child? Because I know that people go for therapy a lot. We have a lot of therapists now.
Exactly.
And I'm sorry to say this, but some of these therapists don't really know what they are doing. They are just, it's more like a try and error kind of a thing. Let's just try this one. If it's not working, we'll do it for a month. Let's try another one. And then I discovered that Some parents even go as far as going to hospitals, and the hospital will now load them with medicines, different kinds of medicines, and they keep, medication. The child is constantly on medication. And I'm wondering, is it that there's not going to be a break, or is this just going to be like this forever? Now, what can we do? As a mother, as parents, what do you do when you know that this child has special needs? What are the first aids? What are the things that you would advise that a parent do? And then for parents who, for instance, have gone to a regular hospital, for medication and treatments and all of that, and they are loading their children with, medications constantly, what would you suggest? What actually do these children need for them to be able to overcome this thing? Because I know that there are some that can actually overcome it.
Yes.
Please help us.
Okay, so first of all, I would like to say that when it comes to therapy and these children, we cannot say that the therapists have not done their job well. Yes, because you can have a child and you make a particular system of attending to them, and it doesn't work out. This does not mean that the therapist is not good, or he or she doesn't know their job. Yes, because you can do so many things to a child, and a new
still not get
development to start. So the first thing to do when you have a child with special needs is diagnosis.
Okay.
When you start noticing some different disorders, behavioral disorder and all that.
Just like the note you said the mother should start taking.
Yes.
From the onset.
Yes.
Okay.
When you start noticing all this, then you have to take your child to a pediatrician or a neurologist for proper diagnosis. So the place of the medicine is not overruled in this case. In fact, it's highly needed for us to find out what is particularly the challenges to be treated.
Okay.
So it is at this point that we can now ascertain, okay, it is autism, okay, it is this, okay, the child is just speech delayed.
Okay.
Yes, so at this point, we can now develop some things for the child. We can now bring people together. So the place of the nutritionist is needed, the place of the pediatrician is needed, and the place of the therapist is needed. Okay. And the place of an educator, special needs educator, is needed. Even though at some time, at some case, may not be needed immediately. You may have to administer one before another. Yes. Okay. So for you to attend to your child with special needs, you need to put heads together. But first, you need to get it diagnosed.
Okay.
Yes. But however, I will also say that taking care of a special needs child is financial draining.
Yeah.
Yes. So it is also advised and encouraged that parents begin to learn more about special needs. Network with other parents who have children with special needs. We have different social media handles, different platforms now that we can join to learn, so that you can improvise in some things. Somebody that has been through what you are facing at that time can profile solutions, and you can also help someone. Because in this case, if your child is undergoing a particular symptom, is showing a particular symptom, and somebody already has gone through that and has paid
the price,
millions to find the solution and has passed that stage, and they give you that solution, it saves you a whole lot of
time and money too.
Yes. So you just administer that, and also the ones you have done in the past, you can. So that is why you should not keep quiet about it.
Okay.
Yes, you should also network with the right people, with specialists, with therapists, and with parents.
Okay.
Yes, this is very important in taking care of the child, because if you leave it alone for the therapist, when the therapist goes, how do you continue with your child? You know, so you have to also learn how to take care of your child and how to know what they want at some time, and how to also provide means of communication with them, with yourself and with the members of your family and friends. Yes, ma'am.
So I mentioned something about giving them medication.
Yes,
continuously.
Yes, thank
is
you
that
for
advisable?
Thank you for reminding me about that. There are, when I mentioned the place of medicine, that is the pediatrician comes in place, and there can be a time they can prescribe some supplements.
Okay.
Yes, supplements are highly needed in this journey.
Okay.
Yes, supplements like ADHD, functional supplements, you know, omega-3, or omega-A, and some other supplements that can help to boost the brain. Yes, so these are required to be used to child, but you should also be careful this spectrum of supplements you are giving the child. Yes.
Please, can you break that down for us? When you say spectrum, what do you mean? Is it the volume or maybe the multiple versions of supplements?
Yes. Okay, let me go directly. For me, with my experiences with adverse effects of some drugs on children with special needs, I always advise that we go for stem cells. I am not advertising for any company in particular. So stem cell multivitamin supplements goes a long way in helping children develop. Yeah, this is because they are gotten from plant cells. Yes, and phytochemicals are very good. They are very good in tackling things that has to do with neurological disorders. Yes, however, there are so many supplements out there now. People are producing different supplements. I'm not also here to castigate anybody's medicine or anybody's supplement. But these are the things that I've seen. I've seen adverse effects of some, because now some special needs children or some disorders like autism now has to do with toxins in the brain. And so some of these toxins, they can be gotten from food, even from some drugs that we take.
Oh, wow.
Yes, even some drugs that we take. So it should be seriously avoided. And for us to avoid it the more, it is better we go for stem cells. Yes, I am still saying that I am not advertising for anybody. Yes, but this is because of the results that I have gotten in the past with stem cells so far. Yes, ma'am. And then the experiences that I've gotten in the past with some supplements. I've worked with a particular parent who is a doctor, you know, and whose child was placed on a particular supplement. And this child became very hyperactive, or a bit violent, if I should say. And at a point, the mother had to say, let me even have a taste of this drug. Just a little. It's not supplement. I can taste it. And she tried it one day and she said she passed out.
What?
Yes. She passed out. And by the time she was resuscitated, she vowed never to give her child that again.
Oh my goodness. So the supplement was that strong?
Yes. So anytime the child takes it, it becomes extra hyper. I am currently working with a child who, when I met him about 3 weeks ago, was very hyperactive. Very hyperactive. One of the things that I took from the child was his supplement.
Oh, wow. Wonderful.
And when we did that, right now he's very calm. At that time, we could not even do anything on him. He was too hyperactive that you can't get him to sit down. He doesn't even sleep. If he manages to sleep at night, he may not wake up till morning. If you try to wake him, even at midnight, he will not be able to sleep back. Yes, and the parents prefer that, okay, since he manages this time to sleep, let him just sleep. Nobody wakes him, even to pee or anything. They just leave him to sleep like that until morning. He wakes up on his own, since he's going to be active round the clock. Yes.
Oh, wow.
And good enough, this week, yesterday, we had him sleep for the first time
during the day
in a very long time.
Oh my.
This is a very good development for me, because right now we can now teach him, and he can take what we are teaching him. We can now work with him. Yes, because I told him, Mom, like this we can't work yet. I'm sorry to tell you, if I tell you that we're doing anything now, it's not going to work. Let's do this. So we put some things away. We had to add some things, make our own curriculum, make our own nutritional timetable for him, much like a meal plan. And after we did that, because of the toxins, so at this time we had a good result. And right now my new boy is doing well, and he's already fit for proper therapy.
Wow.
Yes. So talking about toxins now. Yes. So I mentioned before that even though medicine has not pinpointed a particular cause. Yes. So, but we can take note of toxins in the system and in the brain. Yes. So,
what are the things that causes these toxins? Like, what makes you have toxin? Can you break it down for us? Like, really break it down.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. So, toxicity comes from the food we eat, the environment, the climate. Yes. So,
like air pollution, water pollution.
Thank you, ma'am. Simple. As I say, it comes from the environment too.
Okay.
Yes. So, just like we can react to things like lactose. Some cannot digest certain foods, or their liver cannot metabolize certain other foods.
Okay.
Yes, that is for us. Also in them, how their own body is reacting to some things they cannot accept is by showing some disorders in their behaviors.
So when please come again. That particular sentence you just made.
Yes, ma'am.
The way the things that brings about some of these special needs is the fact that their body cannot tolerate a particular food or a particular thing.
Not just a particular food.
Or toxin.
Simply toxins.
Oh.
Yes. Some harmful substances in water that we drink, in the food that we eat. Sometimes glucose intolerance. Most of these children, they are glucose intolerant. Yes. And we give them lots of carbohydrates.
Wow.
And which is not a meal or a food for children with special needs. It does not mean that you should take out carbohydrates completely for their meal.
Okay.
But should be given the right
proportion
and the right carbohydrates. Yes. So, okay, that one has to do with us working about their nutrition. Already, if you have known that toxins in their food can affect their system and can affect their brains, that means we should review the food they eat and the water they drink too. Yes, this is because some people suddenly start developing some traits or some neurological disorder.
Wow. So it's possible that you are not even born with it.
Yes.
You develop it as a result of what you consume.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Exactly.
That's enlightening, actually. You know, I used to think that it has to be born with. It has to be born with. You have to develop it as a baby or something.
This, like I said before, it is a neurological disorder. It can even come with too much screen addiction.
Really?
Yes.
Aha. Okay.
So people are used to exposing their children
to screen.
In fact, TV, from day phones. One, they give them access to screen. This can drift the mind away, the brain away, and begin to act on the way, the reason. And before you know it, the child is drifting into ADHD.
Wow.
The child may not be able to talk. Some children, they sit down with these things we call cartoons and yes, for hours, and they will not talk to anybody. And this goes on for a period of time, and before you know it, we say there is speech delay. Yes, because I've worked with children that the parents will tell me, you know, me and my wife, when we had this child, we've been busy working from home, you know, trying to make ends meet. And because the child was like a distraction, we had to give him screen. We have to. Yes, so you don't just expose your child totally to the screen or leave to the screen to train for you. It has to be regulated. There is standard regulation for child screen time. Yes, so in fact, for a child between the age of 0 to 3 should not be exposed to screen of any kind at all.
Wow. Yes. I didn't know that.
So after the age of 3 to 5 years, should have 1 hour of screen time. And the regulation goes on and on like that. So this is to tell you that there is no particular thing to do in particular that will say it can lead a child to special needs. Okay, I should dispute that addiction to screen does not only expose the child to autism or ADHD. It cannot, their symptoms, and if the symptom persists, we cannot cannot ascertain that this is now autism. However, it can cause some learning disorders, which are still under special needs. Yes, so like right now we are actually broadening out to learning disorders that has to do with learning and brain disorders, and all of them together are brain disorders. So when it comes to learning disorders, it is still from the brain. Yes, but it's not
a different angle.
Yeah, it is not always. People don't like talking about it. They don't think that it's a major issue, but it is a very important issue, because if a child has a learning disability, may not be able to properly go up in the milestones in education. Yes, and at this point you might be saying my child is not sound, my child is not doing well, and you don't know what is wrong with the child because you have not diagnosed it properly. So with saying all this, we should learn every day about special needs. It doesn't end here. It's very broad. If I take you today, you will not have to do other activities that you have for the day.
Thank you, so much. I really appreciate the fact that you were able to break down. In fact, I've learned a lot. You know, you hear when I say I didn't know that. Yeah, that's why we are here, so that people can get to understand what these things are about. It makes it easier for us, you know, as parents, as wardens, as guardians, you know, so that we can be able to help one another as a community, as a society. Thank you so much for coming. And that is it for today's podcast session